Islam, peace, assalamu alaikum, shalom. Today we're going to talk about this little bitty pamphlet handout called the Quran Questions for Moorish Americans, for Moorish children, right? It says on the cover, the great meeting is on. And on the top, again, it say Islam. It say Islam. Say it again. It say Islam. Don't say Islamism. Say Islam. And while we on that point, and we are in this questionnaire, more is to say, Islamism, we practice Islamism. You ask them, what is Islamism? Most of them cannot tell you. But you can look again. Look this up on the internet. It's basic. You look up the dictionary. It's political Islam. So when our prophet, talking to Moorish Americans, if you're not a Moorish American and you're offended by me saying our prophet, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to Moorish Americans. Our prophet, he said to us that we practice Islam. Period. And then he says Asia. So our Islamism is our religion, political Islam. And we are to unite with the other brothers and sisters around the world, known as Asiatics, the rest of the human family. And it says the great meeting is on. It's right on the cover. So when brothers and sisters tell me, oh, Asiatics only mean the brothers and sisters here in America, no, it doesn't. It means the rest of the Asiatic or the rest of the Muslim family. If you can be Muslim, you accept Islam, you are the Asiatic family. And that's why he says that, like Islam, Asia. The great meeting is on. And then he's picking up this almost lifeless sister. She might look lifeless, but can't resuscitate the dead. So she's not dead, but she needs to be resuscitated. She's been drowning. The symbolism on this cover is self-explanatory. Brothers, when we gonna uplift the sisters? Period. When we gonna uplift the sisters? Gotta put us and her on a solid rock of foundation. So I'm going to this interesting little pamphlet. One, who made you? Allah. Why didn't he say Jehovah, Yahuwah, or anything else of any other religion if we don't practice Islam as Moorish Americans? That's number one. Who made you? Allah, not God in heaven, not none of that. And you know, like I said, this is from the 20s. So you know, we were straight out the plantation. Great migration, all over, out the South. And he said Allah. And he said again, who is Allah? Because you know, why would you have to say who is Allah to people who know some? They don't know anything. They know Jesus and whatever master, because that's where they came from, off master's plantation. They was escaping. And from their own land that the master's children are trying to get them off of, and ran them off of. Yeah, we lost a whole bunch of land running from the South because these crazy people. So, who is Allah? He's talking to somebody. Allah is the father of the universe. He blended a Christian concept of what most people will say, for most Arabs and foreign Muslims will say, Allah is not a father. Allah is the fatir. But he took that and he used it as father, because in America, with these people that he came to, they were Christians. They hadn't had Islam. Prophet Noble Jawadi brought Islam to America, to the African Americans, but the African Americans made it popular and brought it to the rest of the world in a whole nother light. Get into that later. But he say Allah. And all throughout this book, he talking about Allah and Islamic customs and history. So again, I'm trying to figure out, why aren't Moors practicing Muslims? Where did you get that from? On the back of our questionnaire, it usually reads our authority. But on the back of our questionnaire, we have an actual copy of the affidavit. And that's what it reads. Moorish Science Temple of America. Noble Drew Ali is actually on the document. If you get one of these questionnaire and it doesn't have Noble Drew Ali on the document, saying that he's on the document, not the signature at the bottom, but right before Emilio's name is supposed to be Noble Drew Ali. Emilio, it say Maul Bay, Levitt Bay, and Foreman Bay. The Moorish Science Temple of America, deriving its power and authority from the great Quran of Muhammad. This is where you get your, this is what's found in Cook County, Illinois. Its power and authority from the great Quran of Muhammad to propagate the faith and extend the learning and truth of the great prophet of Ali in America. Yes, prophet of Ali. But it say establish the faith of Muhammad in America. Yes, truth of the great prophet Ali in America. But to establish the faith of Muhammad in America. So if you're not practicing the faith of Muhammad, you are not following Noble Drew Ali. You have no authority to operate in an administration of the Moorish Science Temple of America, which gives your members no authority or birthrights as Moorish Americans. Sorry, not sorry, Moorish American. This is what it, this is the reality. It's you can go to Cook County, get the original document, probably for $30 now, something like that, and you'll see it for yourself. If you're really, I'm a faithful Moorish American, I'm about this life. You buy all this dumb paperwork and all this other stuff, but all you have to do is get your real authority, and you'll see it's right there. Establish the faith of Muhammad in America. This is your questionnaire. And this is what I'm questioning to all these so-called leaderships and members or whoever else. Do you know what you have in your possession? He said it's not in having the thing, it's knowing how to use it. Leadership, do you know how to use it? I can't blame the members on that because the leaders aren't teaching the members. Members, why aren't you holding them accountable? Are you coming to church? Did you return the church and Christianity back to the Europeans? Or are you bringing it into the temple? So, this say Quran. And Quran questions for Moorish Americans. And Moorish Americans say it's referring to this Quran. Let's get into this little book for a second. The Christians know this book this is my, excuse me if it's old, but I'm making a point here. This is my temple copy. I worked in the temple for 7 years straight. 7 years straight. Gave my all, my inheritance, my estate, all of it to the temple. Oh, Allah is very merciful and gives great rewards. So I know what I was doing. It was an investment for me. So I worked. This is my temple copy. Got so many notes and stuff in it. I actually do love the book. I've grown very accustomed to this actual book. We're reading it and learning it and maybe becoming it and eating it. And I say eating it because this is the book of the 7 seals. This is the book that it talks about in Revelations that it was told to one of them disciples to eat the book and swallow it. And it's going to be bitter in your stomach and turn. And it's going to taste good, but it's going to be bitter in your stomach. And it's going to, yeah, and that's what it does. Because this is the Holy Koran of the Moorish Science Temple of America. It's not the Holy Quran of Bangladesh, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia, West Africa. None of that. It's for the Moorish Temple of America. This is for America. And everybody's been colonized in America by these people who say they're Americans, but they come from Europe. Moorish Temple of America. And they call it the Circle 7 affectionately because it's a circle with a 7, but it's not a circle. It's a broken circle with at 4 points representing certain things. Divinely prepared by the Prophet Noble Jew Ali, by the guidance of the Father God, of his Father God Allah. Again, Holy Koran, Allah. How are you not practicing Islam because he say prophet? Because you listen to somebody who told you, oh, well, there is no more prophets other than Prophet Muhammad. The Quran says that every nation will receive a prophet. We're a nation of people. To deny that we receive a prophet will deny that we're a nation. You're a part of colonization. So if theirs want to go and continue to do that, and anybody else who want to keep pushing that, oh, you can't have a prophet, then neither can you. We have one. This is the result. Book of the 7 Seals. It was brought to us, our people. Deal with it. So this is the connection when people talk about the chosen people, the Hebrews. Yeah, we were them too. We crossed over. We didn't been through all kind of nations and every kind of empires. We didn't help build most of them. So yeah, we were in a whole bunch, but we are ancient people and we failed. We fell in Babylon, we fell in Egypt, we fell in all these ancient civilizations that you now see in ruins. It means it failed. You see people there now, but those people are not the original people who were there. This book gives you all this information about that. This little bitty pamphlet, it's like 70 pages in this form, 72. And so, as you open it up, it tells you what Moorish science is. Know thyself in Allah. That's not that difficult. The genealogy of Jesus, life, works of Jesus in India, Africa, and Europe, in the land of Egypt. Read it very carefully when you have yours and see why it reads the way it reads. It's quite interesting. If you are intelligent, we need intelligent Moors. If you're unintelligent, we don't need you. We don't. Most of these temples can use you. They need membership, and they need you to be gullible to keep paying them dues, and they're not giving you anything. They can use you. We can't. So, Noble Jew Ali here. He's our prophet. The prophet and founder of the Moorish Temple of America to redeem the people from their sinful ways. That's what he came to do. Okay? If your leadership, your temples, or any other Moorish organizations are not doing that, they don't follow the prophet. And they can say, well, we don't have to follow the prophet. Okay, fine. You don't get the blessing. And you'll find out what the blessing is when you get with one of those who are blessed. Maybe that's the problem too. That's why people are not seeing the blessings from the temple. Anyway, Sultan Abdul Aziz ibn Suad, the descendant of Hagar, now the head of the holy city of Mecca. Why now? What took place? Who was there before? Why is he there now? Can your leadership tell you? If not, who are you following? Where are you following them? Because you're not following a representative of the prophet. See, when you get this book from whoever you receive this book, you're receiving a trust deed from a trustee. You're supposed to be receiving a trust deed from a trustee. And that trustee is supposed to be able to explain to you everything in this book to help you receive your birthrights from the grantor, the prophet. That trustee should be well trained to know about everything in that document and how to use it. If not, that's not a trustee. Unless you're talking about in prison trustees, and that's a whole nother story. Because it's a lot of that. And prison trustees cannot be trustees of the Moorish Temple of America. Moorish law. I don't apologize for it. We know we have political prisoners, but these political prisoners aren't the ones who've been heads of these temples. It's people who actually did stuff. Then they get out and punk people because they the big person and they didn't study all the stuff. They had time, literally, to sit up and study all the prophet stuff and come out quoting, and then they big and want to punk people. Nah, not this way. Might be to women and children, but no. So, when you come in this book, and you come to this page and it says, know thyself and thy father God Allah. And yeah, just to say that, we ain't gonna let you punk the women and children. I just have to come back to that point. Yeah, that's why we here. So no more of that. So, kick rocks. Leave town. Because if you're not from California, you can't run California. See, I'm putting this stuff out. It's for California, but it's going to benefit all Moorish Americans. But I have to correct what confusion it seems that I left when I left the position open in the state of California. Now everybody think it's the Wild Wild West again after we came and tamed it. So, when it says the genealogy, it goes into Jesus, but it automatically immediately goes into your genealogy. Dear readers, do not falsely, talking about you, do not falsely use these lessons. They're for good, peace, and happiness for all those that love Jesus. Well, I'm just going to say for good, peace, and happiness. If you are getting these lessons from somebody, and it's not causing you good, peace, and happiness, when you read it on your own, give it back. If you read it on your own and you get good, peace, and happiness, but you see the doctrine being displayed in administration and leadership and other places where it's not producing good, peace, and happiness, leave them alone. Keep the book, use it as what? A mother or father. Proceed. Dear mothers, teach these lessons to your little ones. You don't need a grand sheik or sheik to do that. You don't need to be an adept to do that. Get the book, teach it to your little ones. Let's build a better nation of Moorish Americans. Fathers, stay home and be fathers. Say that again. By these lessons, you can set your house in order. You can't set another man's house in order, although your children may be there. It's just the facts. So stay home, set your own house in order. And your children will learn to love instead of hate. We're killing each other. Why? Because the brothers and sisters is like, the brothers mainly aren't there to tell their sons, no, you don't do that. It's not what you do. Unless you need to. Then that's what you do. And you do it correctly. So, otherwise, what do we teach in our family? But that's what the whole book is for. So, if anybody trying to use this book to do anything else besides teach their family and set their house in order, this book, he said, I'm giving you everything it takes to save a nation. But in the book, it says save your family. That's an oral statement. This is an oral fact. This is a written fact. Like, he signs it at the bottom. Oral statement somebody said, he said, yeah, but this is what he wrote and said, I said this. So set your house in order. And if you got a bunch of Moorish Americans with their house in order and their economics in order, which is your house, then we a nation of people, or at least a small tribe or something. We moving, we active. Otherwise, you're a bunch of church niggas with fezzes and turbans on. Now, the prophets say there's no such thing as niggas. I agree. So y'all don't exist. You'll continue to be civil dead. A lot of y'all are beyond dirty Moors, beyond unconscious Moors. Some of y'all combined, dirty, unconscious Moors. Some of y'all just worse. Off. So far off, you don't exist. And if you continue to be a problem, I pray to Allah that you really don't exist. Because every evil spirit is moving. But they here to do the work of the good spirits. And they're going to move you right up off this earth. Because people revealing stuff from the Adab chamber just to make money. Read a little bit of what's in the book. Because see, what's in the book condemn those people who won't use it. So, First off, you have a divine origin of the Asiatic nations. It gives you the origin of all the Asiatic nations that he needs you to deal with, for sure. And by dealing with them, they'll introduce you to the other ones, and you'll find out the history of the other ones who we need to deal with. This is priority. He's giving you the beginning of Christianity. Why? Because anybody who look like us and say we came on the slave ship, everybody who's saying who want reparations are Christians. You can't get reparations as a Christian. United States, I'm telling you, you can't give them reparations as Christians. You didn't enslave Christians. You enslaved Muslims. They got to be Muslims. And you got to teach them to be Muslims. And that's a part of the reparations process. Anyway, Egypt, the capital empire, the dominion of Africa. He's telling you about your old dominions. How to establish your old dominions. How you establish your old dominions. So that we can be a people again. And help Ghana and Nigeria and the African nations free themselves from the Francophones and the English and all these other people. But folks, we got to free ourselves from these colonial people here and help the people in the Caribbean. That's why it says America, Moorish Science Temple of America. What relationship do Moorish Science Temple of Americas have with the Caribbean nations? Since, we're a nation. Or is it individual Moorish groups like ours who go around making these connections on behalf of Moorish Americans who want to be active Moorish Americans? We know how to use this book. The rest of the world recognizes this book. The rest of the world recognizes our prophet. They don't recognize stupidity. See, I can talk about Sister Smith Bay, because Sister Smith Bay, Cynthia Smith Bay, walked into the Moroccan embassy with me. And we were the first two Moorish Americans to walk in that embassy. But when I went to Morocco, I walked alone. Because everybody can't take that road. Everybody can't walk this way. Going to prove what Noble Jew Ali did. But they sure want to cover it up and hide it. Release all the information, if y'all real, and expose what happened when we went to Morocco. So that they can know what the Moorish Americans are expected to do. Because right here it says, every temple of the Grand Major Temple is to form under the covenant of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Create their own laws and customs in conjunction with the laws of the Holy Prophet and the Grand Temple. So people say, we make our own temple customs. You can, but you got to be in accordance with the laws of the Prophet, in conjunction with the laws of the Prophet, which is under the whole temple gets its laws from the Holy Koran of Mecca. So you can't do nothing as a Moorish American within inside the Moorish Science Temple of America and say that you don't use the Holy Koran as your basis. You're out of law, you don't exist. And the Muslims are fully sanctioned to do what they please when they find you, because you have no protection from the Moorish Science Temple of America and the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, if you do not accept Islam. Because it says in our oral statements, which everybody like to quote, every knee will bow to Islam before the end. So anybody who's offended about that, deal with it. Now I can explain to you what real Islam is. It's not the Sharia that they talking about. It's not the Sunnah that other people talking about. Because the Sunnah is the books, the holy books. The Sharia is the law that's in the Quran. So knowing how to use your Islam will free you from Arab colonization, because they doing it too. So, but it's here. So we gotta form under the Prophet's laws, and his laws is under the Holy Quran of Mecca. Anybody have any problems with that? Go back to the church and Christianity. What do I mean? The Moorish Science Temple of America is a lawfully chartered and incorporated organization. The Moorish Science Temple of America, not the Moorish Science Temple of America, Inc. The Moorish Science Temple of America is a lawfully chartered and incorporated organization. Any subordinate temple that desires to receive a charter, the Prophet has them to issue to every state throughout the United States. Okay, that's the physical charter. That's what it looked like. It's signed by the head, the chairman of the council now, who they say is Shahid, my brother. I love him. I can say they say because I didn't make that vote. I wasn't in the state. I didn't have to. Wasn't obligated. They made that vote. He signed that charter. That's a charter for the state. It's been that. Now we can change the charter number, but that's the charter. So we represent the state. We represent the ministry, especially me and brother Shahid. We represent the ministry. Some that other people are not, they're not ministers. So that's something for me and him to talk about. I didn't mention him because he's not on the list of everybody else. He's doing what he's supposed to do. He keeping the promise that we kept. Conforming to what y'all want because, you know, it's y'all. But, yeah, the rest of y'all, ooh-wee. So, any subordinate temple that desires to receive a charter, the prophet has them to issue to every state throughout the United States. It's also signed by Sheikh Danifu. Yeah. And Brother Wendell, Brother Rest in Peace. The founder of the Moorish Temple of America, California. The founder. Not the secretary, but the founder of it. And that's just a nonprofit that they didn't even have authority to use. You know, people now using that like it's a temple. You can use it as a nonprofit, but not as a temple. Let's get California together so that we can have something to give to our children instead of lying to them and keep playing because of our ego. So it says that the world may hear and know the truth, that among the descendants of Africa, there's still much wisdom to be learned in these days for the redemption of the sons of men under love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. We as a clean and pure nation descended from the inhabitants of Africa do not desire to amalgamate or marry into the families of the pale-skinned nations of Europe. We do not wish to do what Kanye did. We're not picking on Kanye, but we're showing you. It don't help you. We think like Kanye, but we might act more like Jay-Z. We're going to get us a sister. Sisters get them a brother. I understand, but I have to make comments because that's what y'all think about. And that's who y'all follow. And then y'all have the same problems. It's not guaranteed you won't with a sister, but I bet on my own. Prefer my own. The prophets, I prefer Moors. I don't hate nobody. I prefer my own, just like you do. Anyway, because it's here. It's in the book. Neither serve the gods of their religion. We're not chasing the gods of Greece. We're not chasing the gods of Rome. Or any other European gods, everybody. Thor, we're not chasing him. We're not Scandinavians. I don't have no problem with those gods for those people. But they're not mine. Stop trying to put it on us. And more, stop trying to make them accustomed to us like that's our stuff. It's not our stuff. Because our forefathers are the true and divine founders of the first religious creed for the redemption and salvation of mankind on earth. So why would I follow somebody else if I have the first and it's still working? Because I've been adapting that first to every incident and situation that I come across to make it perpetuate itself. So I know Would Ali set up a perpetual succession with the organization. We just have to use it. Therefore, we are returning the church and Christianity back to the Europeans. The European nations. So the European nations came up with this Christianity that we use. Put it on us in slavery. And we giving it back. If we saying that we know that we were not Christians when we came here. Then if we're saying we want reparations, we got to repair ourselves and return back to them the things that they put on us during slavery and first make self-repair, self-analysis. Analyze ourselves and say, okay, these are the things that they put on us. We're giving those back. We're taking the things that they took from us and we're acting those out. If you're not willing to do that, you're not repairing anything. You're getting paid to silence your ancestors because you're going to get the money to perpetuate somebody else's culture and then just be quiet about it. Yeah, you stupid. I'm not. So, in us returning the church and Christianity back to the Europeans, it was prepared by their forefathers for their earthly salvation. That's why we're doing it. In doing that, we give them their salvation. They can have salvation too, We do not hate the European. They all don't need to burn in hell. They don't. Some of them have salvation. And it's in the church and Christianity. But it's not for us. It's not. It's not for us. We return. While we, see this, let's watch this. While we, the Moorish Americans, not members of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Yes, you go through the Moorish Science Temple of America. It's a school. Did you graduate? It says confer degrees. Who got a degree from the Moorish Science Temple of America? What kind? In what? Who taught it? Where? Okay. Just so, I mean, are we thinking? So, while we, the Moorish Americans, are returning to Islam, not Islamism, Islam, which was founded by our forefathers for our earthly and divine salvation. We have no problem with the European practice and what he practiced. Why everybody got a problem with what we practice? It's our culture, it's our custom, it's our creed. Stay out our face. Stay out our business. Let us solve our problems. And if you're not here to help us solve our problems, then you're a problem. And I'm the problem solver. Everybody know that. The fixer. The covenant of the great God Allah. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be longer upon the earthland, which the Lord thy God Allah hath given thee. Come all ye Asiatics, and hear the truth about your nationality and birthrights, because you are not Negroes. So people think because it says that it's talking about just the black people in America. If you go to England, again, Moors need to travel more. You go to England, you'll realize the English see, you're not English, you're black. That black, whether you from India, Southeast Asia, or anything like that. Anything like that. You're black. Negro. Negro and black is the same thing. Oh, we not Negroes no more. We don't go by the Spanish word for black. We go by the English word for black. We black. That's probably because you're not owned by the Spanish no more. And when we're not using the Spanish dollar no more, look into the history and understand what's going on economically before we just start making stupid statements. It's stupid. It's stupid. Just look up this stuff. So, learn. That's what he's telling you. Of your forefathers' ancient and divine creed. Ancient. Divine. That which comes from the Creator. The Creator. Are Moors offended because I didn't say Allah? Christians offended because I didn't say God? You have many different names. Do we know the names of God? The Christians say they got like 75 names for God. Muslims say they got 99. Why people get so caught up on names of God? I think the Hindus say it's like 1,000. Do we know? Do we know what we say and what we practice when we say we Moorish Americans? We are trying to uplift fallen humanity. Come and link yourself with the families and nations. We honor all true and divine prophets. That, I say, Islam. Peace and love.
Come all ye Asiatics of America, hear the truth about your nationality and your birthrights, because you are not Negro. Learn of your father.